So thanks for joining. My name is Mark Richards. I am a systems analyst, my day job. However, I'm also a glass explorer. So a glass explorer is basically a term referencing people who own a Google Glass device. And today I'm going to tell you about it, at least my experience with it, and kind of define to you what it is. We'll walk through some of the timelines of when it was released and to, what it is today. Walk through some of the hardware, the interface, and just answer any questions you guys have about glass. So what is Google Glass? I wear it on my face sometimes. I'm going to the supermarket, people stop me like, what is that on your face? So Wikipedia defines glass as a type of wearable technology with an OHMP, stands for optical head mounted display. It's developed by Google and it displays information in a smartphone hands-free format. Basically, Google Glass is like a face computer. It does most everything that a smartphone can do, most of which all hands-free and from your face. I think Google, in creating this device, they wanted a solution to put technology to the background, allowing you to interact with people, friends, your environment, without hands-free, without having to hold something, and that might make the interaction more engaging. So their solution with Google Glass. It's debatable whether that solution worked or not. I think we're still early in the wearable technology days, but it's very compelling, and I'm glad I'm going to be talking to you about at least my experience with it. The picture that you see in the slide is an early prototype of what glass was. Glass has been developed for years before 2000, I think like 3 or 4 years before 2012, and it's gone through many iterations. And I just thought that might be interesting that you guys see what it looked like before what I'm about to show you. So here's what they settled on, and this is what I have. This is the Explorer edition of glass, and you can see it looks nothing like the prototype. Now, I want to make clear that this device that I have in my hand is not what you'll see in the future. This is going to be a much different device, and we'll talk more about that later. But again, this whole device is really a public beta program, an experiment to see who can do what with this device. So let's move on to the hardware, and I'll talk to you, kind of get closer to the camera and see and show you like the ins and outs of this device. So on the screen, you'll see on the PowerPoint slide, you'll see number 1, which is the bone conducting transducer. This is basically the speaker of the device, or BCT for short. It's right here, and it has the words glass on it. So right there. It's a bump that sits on the back of your head, and it's not like your traditional speaker with a film and it does vibrate, but it vibrates through your skull, not into your ear. So it sounds like the voice is in your head, and they do that so that the person next to you doesn't hear what you're hearing. So the interactions can be private. So if you're on with the glass device on and you're talking on the phone, no one next to you hears what you hear, or listen to music, that sort of thing. It's not the best implementation. It could be improved, but I thought it was really neat, and it's hard to explain how it feels until you actually use it. And then inside of glass is a power button, and it works just like any other power button on your device, smartphone devices. Just you hold it to turn it on, hold it again to turn it off, and there's a light right there to tell you when the device is on or off, and a pulse to show you that it's on. So there are several functions that you can perform in glass using your voice, but there's also a touchpad. So this whole side of glass is a touchpad. There's 4 motions that you can use the touchpad with. You can go back to front, so you can go back to front, front to back. You can go down, or you can tap. and that allows you to interact with the operating system, which we'll demonstrate in a few. There is a manual shutter button, so number 4, it's that right there. So the manual shutter button allows you to take pictures or record video. Again, you could do that with voice, but you need a solution that allows you to take a picture in a very noisy environment. So when you have it on, you can click here to take a picture. It'll frame the picture and then take it. Or you can hold it down for 3 seconds and it'll start to record video for 10 seconds. If you hold it again during the video, I forget how long you need to hold it for, it'll start to record continuously. So that's how you get videos that are longer than 10 seconds. The display. So here is the prism, and you can see in the prism there's like this film in the prism that reflects light back into your eye so you can see the screen. So the screen, and again it's really hard to demonstrate this through a webinar, but the screen, if you can imagine, is like a 30-inch television screen, an HD television screen that it's sitting about 10 feet away from you, so right above your right eye, and it's transparent, which is interesting. But it's a very clear screen. I think I think they did a really good job with presenting the display in this device. There's also a sensor inside here, that little black strip, that tells when you have the device on your face or not. So the screen will turn on when you have the device on your face, and then it'll turn off when you put it down. And this sensor also, there's a setting in the operating system. It's an experimental setting that allows you to take a picture with just winking. So if you're looking at something with the device on, if you wink, it'll just take a picture, and that sensor is what catches that wink. It's not totally 100%. Again, this device is very experimental, but I think it's kind of neat. So as far as specs goes, it takes 5 megapixel pictures, which are pretty good. After they're uploaded, they're automatically uploaded and backed up to Google+. And if you have a Google+ apply automatic enhancements and filters, I mean, they look really great. If you go to any social media, which is Facebook or Twitter or even Google+, and search on #ThroughGlass, you'll get all the interactions of explorers out there that are displaying their pictures to the public, so you can judge for yourself. But I think there's some great pictures out there. The video that's recorded is 720p, so it is HD, but not full HD, but it is HD. It has 16 gigs of memory, but only 12 of that's usable, and that 12 is used for pictures and video and apps as well. It is Wi-Fi, so you can use it at home on your Wi-Fi network. And if anyone's interested to know, the processor is a Texas Instruments OMAP 4430 1.2 gigahertz dual ARM-B. I don't know too much about SoCs or system on chips processors. I know that it's a very old one, and the people that listening to this broadcast probably have a smartphone with a very advanced processor. So this is working on older hardware. So I'm hoping new iterations use better, faster processors. So let's move on to some accessories. So it does come with frames. You can go to the Google Play Store, not now, but when it was available, you can purchase frames, designer frames with the glass device attached to the frame, and then take it to your optometrist, and that person will put the lenses in there. So I know a lot of people have questions about if they can use it with their glasses, and some people kind of do the glasses and then they put this thing over it, and it's a little cumbersome. They make it work, but after so long, Google said, let's just make some frames for it, and this is the solution. And you see they're really designer, and then again, you can just go to the optometrist, and then that person will put the lenses in. Any questions so far?
There was a question of what does it cost, but I guess it'd be what did it cost?
Yes, that's a good question. So it did cost $1,500 to get in, 1,500 to get in. Um, I paid that because I want to be an explorer and I wanted to experience this project. That's very expensive, and they promised that the next iteration, the consumer product, is not going to cost that much, so I hope it doesn't. But yeah, it was $1,500 for the glass device. Here are
Now,
another accessory. Sorry, did anyone have?
even though the program is ending, are you going to be able to continue to use the glass?
Yeah, yeah. So very good question. The program has ended. The device is purchased, is mine. I own it, and I can still continue to use it. I still continue to interact with people and post pictures to Google Plus with it. So the people who do own it, they just continue to use it. They're just not supported by Google at the moment. In regards to the $1,500, I think during the program. Well, let's see. If the device breaks, I mean, there is a maintenance problem. There is maintenance with it, so you can send it back to Google, and I believe they give you a new one, and they're pretty quick about that too. So that $1,500 comes with a lot of great support from Google.
Okay, Ray is asking, is the Google Glass binocular or monocular? He only has the use of his right eye.
I don't know how to answer that question. I don't think it's binocular. Could someone explain to me what the difference is?
I'm not sure what he means either, and maybe he can type it in. I'm
Okay.
thinking, can you use it on either eye, or is it only going to be on the one eye?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think um, I've seen people with it on the left side of their eye. So right now it's on my right eye, but I have seen it on the left eye, and I don't know how they did that. At first, I thought you can unscrew it from the band that wraps around here, but not with this particular version. So I feel like there is a way to do it on your left eye. I just don't know how to do that because I never explored that. I never had the issue with it being on my right eye. A very good question. Um, Going back to the hardware, there are the nose pads here, and these are completely adjustable, and then the band that wraps around the outside of your face. It's pretty durable. This whole device is actually pretty durable. You can bend it for $1,500. It's kind of scary. But yeah, it's very durable. A lot of people use it for action sports. You've heard of GoPro cameras. They attach the camera to their helmet or whatever. Like some people use this device as a supplement or for those. I like to ride my bike around the lake. I put this on and record as I go. It can get sweaty and still function. So it's you can use it for active use. So shades is another accessory that's available with it. Again, going outside, going outdoors, using shades with it is pretty important. So I have shades here. These are DVF aviators, brown aviators that are available to purchase, or was available to purchase. I always talk in the past tense. So there's you can see the inside of the shades. There's like little slits that slide in between the nose pads. So I don't know if you see that, it'll go in there and then twist. And that's what it looks like. Any questions so far? I took a picture accidentally.
No, I think we're okay.
Okay. And again, they come off really easy. Slide off. Just put them away. So let's talk about software. The device is connected to my smartphone via Bluetooth. And the app that controls the device on my smartphone is called My Glass, and the My Glass app is available both on Android and iOS, so you can use these on iPhones. And through that device, you can assign it, you can manage the Bluetooth settings, you can look at the pictures that you take. So the picture that you take with the device are synced to the app, allowing you to share better or save it locally on your phone. And then that's where you manage your applications called glassware, and we'll get into that in a few. So the interface, people ask, like, what does it look like? Here in the PowerPoint slide, I took some screenshots of examples of what it looks like. The interface is basically shown in a timeline, so a flat timeline with the left being now, and as you move to the right, it goes back in the past. And at a certain point, it shows future things to the left. And I mean future, what I mean by future is like your Google Now cards, your dynamic Google Now settings. So things like, you know, your next appointments, or how long it takes to get home. Very, very interesting things. So, for example, in this picture here, it shows the weather, it shows a text message, and then in the bigger picture, it shows the timeline kind of squeezed down. So as you move, if you're looking at the camera, if you move further in the past or fast through the interface, the timeline shrinks similar to what you see in the picture, so you can see multiple cards at once. So if I go back to front, I'm moving back in the past, and if I go front to back, I'm moving towards the future. So let's walk through that. Let me show you I'm going to show you my desktop, and I'll show you what it looks like. I have a tool that mirrors what I see on my desktop, so you guys get a better idea of what it looks like as I see it on Google, through my eye. So Huey, can we move to my desktop now? Okay. Great. So here's my desktop. That black command box on the screen is the mirror, basically. It's just a tool that allows me to, again, show what's on my glass on my desktop. So you see the time 2:18, it has the words there. I can't say, when I say those words, it activate the voice commands, which I'll demonstrate here in a minute. The screen turns off automatically to save battery, so it'll stay on for a few seconds and turn off, which I have to come back to the touchpad to tap it, turn back on. Whenever I can actually tilt my head up to a certain angle. This is a setting and available to adjust, but I can tilt my head up to a certain angle, and it'll turn on the screen. So I don't, if my hands are full, I'm holding a box and I want to interact with my glass device, I'm going to tilt my head up and the screen will turn on, then I can speak to it. So as I was saying earlier, if I go from back to front, it's going to show notifications from my glass device and my phone. So there are apps running that run exclusively on my glass device, and there are apps that are running on my phone, such as like my email and my text messages that get forwarded or sent to my glass device, which I can interact with. So one of the apps I have is an earthquake app by developer Marty Ballard, a great guy. I met him once or twice before. We had lunch together. He's a good guy, and I'm testing out this app for him. So basically this app shows earthquakes that happen all around the world in real time, and then where am I in relation to that earthquake. So You can explore that here. If I tap again to, oh, there's Bill. If I tap, I get into that card. I engage that card, and then it shows me information regarding that event. So in this case, it was an earthquake 5.1 in New Guinea 20 minutes ago, and I'm 7,800 miles away from that. So very interesting. And one thing I learned about this app is that earthquakes happen all the time. I had no idea. There's an earthquake happening all the time. So here's Bill. He sent me a message through Hangouts, and it's on my glass device. And there's another earthquake notification. Let's kind of move forward. Here's another app called Word of the Day, and it shows me a phrase that I can use every day, or it just gives me a phrase once a day. Today's jump the shark. And then here's some text messages I have. So just imagine all the notifications that you have on your phone are displayed on your glass device. So you don't have to use your phone in this case. You can just use your glass device. And then you can also reply to them as well. So here's a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine. We text messaging each other, and then I can reply to him if I like using my voice, but I won't do that here. So you see, I'm engaging my cards by tapping on them, and then I'm going back out or backing out. Like on your phone, there's a back arrow. Like for Samsung phones, there's that back button on the bottom left-hand corner. That's basically what I'm doing. Is when I go down, I'm hitting back. So you have to bear with me. The device, the more you use it, the slower it gets and the hotter it gets. Again, this is one of the first revisions of Google Glass, so the processor is a little old. So what I'm trying to get to is a CNN report. So I have a CNN running on my app, or running on my device. And yeah, here it is. So I can click on it and play it. So it's a video from CNN that shows me this story about this man biking to Brazil for the Olympic Games. So bear with me, it's loading up right now. So again, this is video being shown to you. Oh, there's an error with playback, so that's fine. Again, this is things that happen with Google Glass, a demo, especially during a demo. Of course, things are going to fail. So there's the video. I don't know how it's showing through the presentation, but I can hear the story in my ear, and also see the video in my eye. But just to give you a sense of what's happening is that you can see video like through your Google Glass device. One thing I told my wife that I wanted to come out on Google Glass is an ESPN app, so I can basically sit at the dinner table with Google Glass on and watch ESPN while we're eating dinner. I think that'll be great. And there's a text message, or there's a message from Bill saying great. So again, you saw a message there saying that the Google Glass has to stop to cool down with an older processor and all the things running. The glass device gets hot quickly. I can feel it on my face, and then it's also really slow, especially like not running on Wi-Fi, running from your phone if you have bad connection. So there are issues with glass, and these are things that Google wants feedback from so that the next iteration of glass can be even better. Let's go to the left side of the home screen. So the 224, which says the time, and then those words which I won't say. To the left side of that are my Google Now cards. So if I go back, it has my calendar appointment. So tomorrow I have a Thunder game here in Oklahoma City. It starts at 6 o'clock. Again, these are showing future things. Again, Google Now, if you guys don't know, you guys can look that up. I think for anyone who has an Android phone, I'm pretty sure you're using Google Now. It shows 2 places nearby me. So if there's coffee shops near me, I remember walking into the mall for the first time with Google Glass. Like it just kept firing notifications and things that are around me. Like there's a coffee shop, there's a there's a Starbucks, there's this pastry place, there's Cinnabon, all sorts of things that are around me. So just imagine that could be very useful in the future, or maybe very annoying. I hope they can turn that off if you want to. Again, these are just now my Google Now cards here. So here's where I parked at, and then here's settings, where I can manage a lot of the head tilt configuration, and maybe the wink to take a picture. All those experimental projects or features I can manage through settings. Okay, so let's talk about voice commands. So one of the biggest things about Google Glass that you can use it hands-free. That was the biggest part of this project, was putting technology aside and just giving you the freedom to use the device hands-free. Once the screen is on and you're at that home screen, you can say the words "OK Glass," "OK Glass," and then from there you get a list of voice commands that you can say. And the list is so long that I have to tilt my head up and down to see the full list. So it thought I said "listen to." You can use that. You can use "listen to" listen to music. When you say those words, it'll open up Google Play Music on your phone, and then you can speak an artist or a genre, and it'll start playing music through your device. Let me demonstrate to you how you take a picture. So I can say the words "OK Glass," "OK Glass," take a picture. So here's the picture that it took. It framed it, and it's the picture of the presentation basically. And then from there I can share it out to Facebook or Google Plus, or whatever social media I enjoy using. So I will just click on the picture with the touchpad. I can send it in an email or a text message from here, or I can scroll through and see the other options available. I have share, so that's what I'll do. I hit share. It's kind of lagging here. And then sharing basically shows my sharing capabilities within Google Plus. So I have particular circles for groups that I share things with. And I think it just shared it out. Let's try it again. So share my Google Plus circles. And there it goes. You see the line at the bottom of the screen, like showing the share, and then it had chimed in my ear to tell you when it's done. And now it's in the cloud. Now it's on social media. So this is compelling. I mean, you can imagine maybe recording your grandchild walking for the first time, or riding your bike or whatever, and you're helping them ride their bike, and they're finally riding their bike, and you're capturing on your face camera, and you're sharing it from right there to all the family and friends that listen to that follow you on Facebook. That this event happened just minutes ago. I mean, it's very compelling. So let's look at some other actions. I don't know how well this will work, but let's try it. OK Glass. Google, current President of the United States of America. So I'm basically doing a Google query. So this is me typing into Google a question, and it's going out to find the answer. So you guys don't hear this, but it's telling me the answer: Barack Obama is the President of the United States of America. But what will happen here, and it's lagging, it's very slow right now, but it'll show a picture of Barack Obama and then information associated to him, basically. It'll give me the Wikipedia page for him. So again, this device is very good in like a trivia pinch. I guess it's kind of like cheating. So I'm just going to pause there. Anyone have any
Turn my
questions so
mic
far?
on. Judy Tallur says, I'm having so much fun watching this. I don't see any other questions at this point, but I think they're so focused on watching you that they haven't typed any in. But if anybody has any questions, feel free to type them. Somebody's typing now.
Yeah, feel free. I mean, ask away. Ask about experiences. I know a lot of people ask about driving, what it's like when driving. So let's demonstrate that. Say I want to drive. I need directions. I need directions to Whole Foods because they have ice cream that's delicious. So the directions is basically Google Maps. I think, Judy, we talked about integrated technologies. Like any services that's available in Google now, or Google just in general, is available on Google Glass. So Google Maps and driving directions is present that you can access. You have access to with Google with the Glass device. I'm sorry. So let's say OK Glass. OK Glass. It's very slow right now. Directions to Whole Foods. Okay, so the query ended. I had a beep in my ear. It's looking for the closest Whole Foods at this time, and then based on my current location, it's going to give me the driving directions to Whole Foods. So as I'm driving, what happens is that the screen turns on when I'm going into a turn, but if there's a straightaway, it'll turn off so that I'm not distracted. Oh, so that's really wrong. It got the Whole Foods in Dallas, Texas. You know, let's go there. I'm in Oklahoma City, so there's a Whole Foods here, but why not go to the Whole Foods in Dallas? Sure. I'm sure they have good ice cream. So it's pulling up directions now. So you'll see, just like it is on Google Maps, you know, the road and the arrow and what direction you're facing and where to turn. So it's showing me that I have 3.5 hours to drive to Dallas. I'm going to drive north. I'm going to drive up on North May. And this is what it looks like. You have to forgive me. It's again, the device is getting really hot because it's during demos. The screen is always on all the time, so it gets hot really quick. But just to explain to you again that I'm hearing the directions, it's the speaking directions. I'm hearing it in my mind or in my head right now. But as I'm driving, again, the screen turns off in straightaways, and then when the 2 mile notification comes up, like you're within 2 miles of a turn, it'll come up again and then come off, then turn off, and then as you're getting into the turn, it'll turn on again. So it tries to limit your distractions as much as possible by turning off the screen and using the audio directions. So let's stop this. So we're back to the home screen. Let's try another thing. OK Glass. OK Glass. Explore the stars. Oh, it's not hearing me. Oh, we got it. I'm still amazed. Even, I have to say, for such an old device, it's about 2 years old now, it captures my voice very well. It's still slow again because it's using a very slow processor, or a very old processor. But I think it captures voice very well. And okay, so the app that I'm in now is called Explore the Stars. So it's showing me stars based on my relative location. So as I move my, if you see the camera, as I move my head, I'm seeing in my glass device the stars that I'm looking at. There's also an app like this available on your phone, but it's really neat to see it on your face without having to touch anything. So as I'm looking, I'm in my office right now. As I'm looking around, I'm basically seeing stars. And as I point to something, or as I just focus in on something, it'll give me additional information about what I'm looking at. So if I can maybe find the sun. There's Venus. Okay, I can't find the sun, plus I'm tethered to my computer. Oh, is that the sun? There's the sun. So now it's talking to me. Now it's telling me, you know, defining what the sun is to me in my ear. So, I mean, this is very, for any, you know, star enthusiast or astronomers.
Yeah, there are a few comments and questions.
Kids that want to learn more about the stars. This is an awesome tool.
Bill says it's a fantastic demo, more than he expected. Judy asks, can you turn off the screen and only use the audio directions when you were doing the map? Okay,
I'm unsure.
Francis put a link
I'm unsure.
to Google Glass applications for blind and visually impaired users. There's a link to that. And then John B. asks, when will it be available again? And if so, the price, expected price?
Okay, very good questions. I'm going to turn it off and let it cool down. So, you know, let's go back to the PowerPoint slide, Huey. Oh, I wanted to talk about the glassware. We kind of browsed through it quickly with the demo, but there's all sorts of available apps. The star chart and the second one in the middle there, that's the one I just demoed. There's a golf app. So for any golfers out there, you get your yardage in your eye. And what happens is very cool is that when you adjust the ball and you're looking down, the screen is off so it doesn't distract you. It only turns on when you're looking up. After you hit the ball, that's when the screen turns on. But then it gives you suggested clubs, what to use when you're 91 yards away, and that sort of thing. So it's basically your golf finder in your eye. Again, CNN, Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare. If anyone is familiar with Foursquare, they can check in just by voice. The Duolingo, so you can learn a different language with your glass device. And then there's IFTTT, which is a if then that. Basically, I don't use it, but you can say if I'm at home with my glass on and it's 6 o'clock, turn on the lights, that kind of thing. I'm not going to go through the timeline. I only will say that it was announced in 2012, and now we're here in 2015, and it's the program's closed. So where is it now? What's going to happen? The current status of glass is that the device, again, was just I guess Google thought it would be a consumer product, but they wanted to put it out there to the public, just a limited few to see what they did with it. Now, glass, now that Explorer program that I'm in is done, and now they've taken that group or that program and moved it into its own umbrella. So the whole glass team, which is about 300 Google employees was under the umbrella called Google X, or Google Experimental Labs. This is the high thinking, pie in the sky thinkers in Google that developed all the crazy things that we won't see till 10 or 20 years down the line. Driverless cars, the Google contacts that track your diabetic blood sugar levels, those sort of things. The internet balloons, the what is it? Project Tango, Project Ara. Google Glass was part of that crew. Now it's moved out of that crew and moved into Google proper. So we can expect a product. I think we can expect a product soon. I don't know of exactly when. Google I/O happens in May. Google I/O is equivalent of WWDC for Apple. That's when Tim Cook goes out there and tells you all the new things. Well, Google has an equivalent of that called Google I/O, and that's when they present new products and new Android builds. And I'm thinking, as a fan of Google, I'm hoping that there's some word about Google Glass then. We'll just have to wait till May to see. I will say that the leadership that they have for the Glass team is pretty big. Tony Fadell is the second bullet there in the presentation. He was I think he designed the Nest thermostat. If anyone's familiar with that, that's a very industrial looking, very nice looking thermostat. So he is now the head of Google Glass, and I know you might be laughing, like the guy who developed the thermostat, is now Google Glass. And you have to think that he's the designer, and the thermostat is a well-designed thermostat. So you got to imagine that he's going to take that mentality into another product, Google Glass. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Tony Fadell also designed the first iPod. He used to work for Apple. So there's a lot of I'm very optimistic about Glass's future. Now, when and how much, I don't know. I was told that it's going to be less than $1,500 for sure, but I don't. Is that 400? Is that 500? Is that 800? I don't know. I do know that there's no more public betas, so when it does come out, it's just going to be out, and you might see it at Best Buy,
Okay,
or Target.
Paul, it's fascinating. It's been
Of
a
course,
very good
the Google Play Store.
presentation of the Google Glass. I saw it. Now I have a pretty good idea what it was. I had no idea, except I've seen some people wearing them and talking about them. Any final words? Because we're getting down to the end. Go ahead and finish up your...
Okay. Well, Judy had suggested that I kind of talk about integrated technologies. Again, Google provides several services, across email, across, data retention, which is like Dropbox or Google Drive. They have all these packets and products that interact and weave and cross-function with each other. So you can imagine some of that's going to be part of what Glass presents. It already does Google now. So there's other technologies inside that Google X bubble that might be that might be incorporated with Glass at some point, or even other devices, even your cell phone. So there's one called Project Tango, which is a device. Basically, I think it's like a measuring device. It has multiple cameras. It's like a smartphone with multiple cameras, but records environments in 3D. So it measures, everything that's associated to that environment, and then places it in a 3D space that can be manipulated in your phone. So just imagine that data with Google Glass. So I can have Glass on. A scenario would be me having Glass on, and I'm blind or partially blind, and because this shopping center that was recorded with Project Tango is now my Google Glass, I can walk through the shopping center with Google Glass giving me feedback, as in maybe like audio feedback, turn left or right here, or maybe like vibration bumps. That's very compelling stuff. And there's also a lot of potential for gaming, so that's another story. But with Project R and Google Glass, there's some very compelling things. Project Tango, the top right picture that you see there is modular cell phones. That's a beta that's happening in Puerto Rico right now, where you can, just like computers, you can take RAM out or a hard drive out. You can do that now, or they're trying to do that with cell phones. So just imagine that technology with Google Glass. Say if I am out in the forest someplace and I want to take a picture of a deer that's miles away or a few feet away, I can just unslip this camera and put in another one. That's very compelling stuff. And of course, the driverless cars things, you can imagine that in the future, if you're downtown someplace, you can just hop in a driverless car, like a taxi, take you a few blocks. But that driverless car probably doesn't have a dashboard in it. Google Glass can be that dashboard. As soon as you step into the car, it'll give you information about where you're going, the estimated time of arrival, current speed, maintenance issues with the car. It's very limitless. So you can just think about all sorts of things, and it's very cool and fun to think about. Again, I don't work for Google. I don't, my opinions are my own, but I just think it's very cool to kind of imagine, what can happen in the next couple of years with these technologies. But yeah, that's all I had today. Thank you for allowing me to share Google Glass with you. Again, if you have any questions,
Somebody's typing. Let's see what they
go
have
ahead
to
and
say.